I'm now pleased to continue our technology session with our Spotlight on Innovation. Pleased to introduce Dr. Tarek Souryal. He's the president of the JetWind Power Corporation. Please join me in giving him a big round of applause.
Good afternoon. Following that talk by John makes me feel like I'm introducing the new flip phone. I am very proud to be here today. I'm honored. I welcome you to Dallas. This has been my home for the past 4 decades. Dallas is a wonderful community. I'm hoping that in the last few days you've had an opportunity to see some of our shining stars. And if you haven't, maybe tonight, maybe you'll come back. One of our brightest stars is Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. From this one spot, you can travel anywhere in the United States within a couple of hours. You can go anywhere in the globe with one stop. Airports are often the first impression that a visitor has of a city. Dallas is an innovative city. It's a forward-looking city, forward-moving city. And DFW reflects just that. I could not be more honored than to be the speaker here for the Innovation Spotlight segment. The company that we launched 10 years ago has a history that I will have to condense in 10 minutes. Frankly, today we're launching the energy capturing pod concept. And before I tell you more about this ECP concept, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I was introduced as Dr. Tarek Souryal. I am not a PhD as most would expect at a conference like this. I'm a medical doctor. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I practiced for 29 years, and 22 of those years I was part of the head team physician for the Dallas Mavericks. I was fortunate enough to win a championship. I wear my ring from time to time on very special occasions. And throughout that relationship, I had the pleasure of taking care of and performing surgery on some of the biggest names in the world of sports. It was through that affiliation with the Mavericks, as well as my love for travel, that I amassed nearly 7.5 million miles flying. I feel privileged to have visited most every major airport in the world, most of the minor airports in the world, the smaller airports in the world. And it was on one of those trips that I was introduced to the concept of energy capturing pod. I was at Burbank in Southern California. It was a very small airport. I think it's called Bob Hope Airport. It may be called Hollywood Burbank Airport now. But it's a unique little airport. It was built back in the 30s. And in the 30s, the primary mode of flight was the biplane. They did not need long runways. And what has happened over the ensuing decades is that the city of Burbank and Southern California in general surrounded this airport, essentially landlocking it. And what that has done is it gave Burbank some of the shortest runways in the country. These short runways are not really well suited for commercial aviation, although lots of flights go in and out of this airport. Runway 26 in particular is only 5,800 feet. It's just a little over a mile. And because of that, pilots have to practice a unique takeoff and landing procedure. And it was something that I'm sure most of you noticed. You may not have known what it was, but just in case you don't, because of the short runway and the noise abatement and the rapid ascent, the pilot positions the plane at the base of the runway, secures the brakes, powers up the engines for 20, 30 seconds, and then releasing the brakes, the plane catapults down the runway, rapid ascent, noise abatement. I was looking out the window. There was debris flying everywhere. There was wind. The deflectors behind the airplane were vibrating. And I was looking and I was thinking, wow, what a waste. I wonder if there was a way for us to recycle, capture, make something good out of this exhaust that is just blowing off into the wind. This is a runway in the Caribbean, and believe it or not, people go there to do just that. That can't be safe. That can't be safe. But it was watching that confirmed in my mind that I need to pursue this. I'm not sure who said it. I don't know if it was Einstein or Da Vinci or my high school teacher, but somebody taught me the first rule, the first law of thermodynamics, which is energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. Well, in this case, the energy in the petroleum is burned through the jet engine. This produces thrust. The plane is moved forward, and it was through that thrust that the plane takes off in the air and continues flying. Well, a byproduct, and maybe byproduct is not a good word, is wind. Every time a jet takes off, there is wind that's created. The energy capturing pod is a simple concept. It's really a wind turbine in a box. But it's not just a regular wind turbine, and it's not just a regular box. It is a turbine that is specially made to withstand the jet blast and the heat and the high speeds involved. The box has a specific configuration so that it can capture a bigger gulp of air than one would expect from a 16-foot by 4-foot opening. They have solar panels on top. The solar panels are strictly designed to power the computer that's built in, and this computer can send metrics to any device in the world as to how this pod is functioning. The helicopter is taking off or landing. It creates a tremendous amount of wind. The turbines spin. The generators create electricity. The electricity is plugged right into the grid for local use. It is a concept that is so simple, sometimes you wonder, why didn't we think of this before? Along the way, I had help from the professors at Southern Methodist University, Dr. Ali Bastock and Dr. Paul Kruger. They, along with their graduate students, formulated all my metrics, my electricity, and my simulations. And I worked with Richard Klein. Richard Klein is the foremost authority in wind turbines. He's got projects all over the world. In fact, he's in Amsterdam now working on a project there. In his early days, he worked with the Hubble telescope design. The aviation industry makes the most sense for this concept. There is predictable man-made wind. Every time a jet takes off, every time a jet is taxiing around the corner of the taxiway, air is produced which can be captured. Of course, there are FAA regulations that we abide by, but even at 250 feet back, there is still sufficient wind to power these turbines. Every time I see a deflector, I think of energy capturing pods. But think about helipads. Helipads everywhere, whether it's in New York City or whether it's in Hawaii at a resort. Every time a helicopter takes off or lands, man-made wind is created, the pods spin. Military applications. Imagine, if you will, an outpost way out in the desert. Power is hard to come by. They use generators to create power. And despite the efforts of the Secretary of the Navy to use alternative fuels, they still need more help. Imagine these pods situated everywhere that a Harrier takes off, everywhere that a helicopter takes off, everywhere that an Osprey takes off and lands. These can augment the power that is needed to run that base, and this power can be used right there on the spot locally. Look at the amount of wind that a Harrier creates. But aviation is not the only option. A bullet train traveling through the south of France, a bullet train traveling through Japan. They're actually proposing a bullet train from Houston to Dallas. I see these pods situated in what I call green zones, which can capture the wind that's created as the train goes by. This wind can power the station, it can power the crossings, and if there's any leftover power, it can go into that local community's microgrid. We plan to introduce the Gen 2 first. This is the low-profile model. It is 16 feet long, 4 feet tall, 4 feet deep. It's called Gen 2 not because it's a generation 2, but because it has 2 generators. And then later we're going to produce the Gen 5. The Gen 5 has 5 turbines and 5 generators. It's a much bigger component. It's about the size of a baggage cart. And a series of these on the other side of the fence in the Caribbean would have made a humongous difference. This is one of my favorite slides. This is a time-lapse photo of aircraft taking off from LAX. They have 1,500 takeoffs a day. And I put this here to remind me about 2 points that I need to make. This is not a wind energy project. We are not putting a turbine out in West Texas hoping for the wind to blow, not knowing how fast it's going to blow, not knowing which direction it's going to come from. Yes, we use wind turbines, but this is a sustainability project, not a wind project. And the economics. You have to have economics when you're talking about a new project like this. The economics vary from city to city, from airport to airport, from country to country. There are grants, there are tax rebates, there are European regulations, and this makes the economic picture a little different from place to place. But I needed a reference point. So I asked my team at SMU, I said, look, we've got 1,500 takeoffs at LAX. In Dallas, we pay 7 cents a kilowatt hour. In LA, they pay 21 cents a kilowatt hour. In Maui, they pay 37 cents a kilowatt hour. Knowing what you know, give me a number. And this, by the way, was just last week. At a place like LAX, no, not even say like a place like LAX. At LAX, one Gen 5 turbine will produce 300 megawatt hours per year and pay for itself in less than a year. Now that does not count any incentives, that does not count any tax rebates, that is just strictly on the cost of electricity. I don't want to tout this project as a saving money project. I want this project to be a sustainability project. Every kilowatt hour that we capture and we use at our local facility is one less that we have to use from a coal station. And by the way, if there are kilowatt hours that are coming from clean sources, let's use them somewhere else. In the future, I see every jet maintenance facility having these capturing pods. I see every helipad, I see every airport, I see every train tracks having these things lined. I feel that this is a simple and sustainable enough project that it is worthwhile to pursue. We will complete the field testing right here at DFW by the end of this year. We plan to take orders in the beginning of 2018 and have deliveries and installation by mid-2018. We will be here tomorrow at the Dallas-Fort Worth headquarters to answer any questions that you might have. I would like to thank Robert Horton for asking me to be here today. Until we meet tomorrow, or if you have questions even later, please feel free to go to our website. Somebody will respond and answer your questions. I will respond and answer your questions. But I did want to introduce this energy capturing concept today, the new flip phone. Thank you.